Well. Good evening, people. It's the 15th of December, the middle of the month. And yes, hope everyone is well. Well. What a day we had in the market. I mean, there's always something to talk about. It's such an interesting day. Um, you know, regardless of what I'm going to say today, guys. Peace is the way. Peace is the way. Peace is the way. We heard what happened in Australia yesterday. Let's be tolerant of each other. Um, that is my TED talk, really, regardless of who you are. Look, we all bleed the same. And that's what I'm going to say. So, right, back to why we're here, and which is the market. I hope everyone had a good day today because I surely did. It was a funny one, really, today because it kind of felt like, I mean, last week we had a rates cut, and like I always say, rates cut does not mean the market will keep rebounding, or should I say, the rates cut does not mean the markets will move in a straight line. But anyway, so what happened today? If you look at the Qs today, I mean, it's less than 1%, really. I go with my trend line, which I keep extending, and as you can see, for the past few weeks, I would say. I mean, in the immediate, the market has been respecting the trend line. And can you see what happened right there? It collapsed again. So, is the market tired of AI? I don't know. I mean, we're gonna look at a few things. Purely, we look at, like I always talk about Occam's razor, channel and narrow everything to one thing and one thing only, and that's the price. Price is all that makes sense. After that, anything else is a bonus. So anyway, as you can see again today, the market sold off, and the market sold off. I always call it a load shedding, really. So we had a bit of a load shed moment, and we are back down below the trend line again. So that's one thing I would say. So again, but does that mean the markets, we tired of AI? So, but that's S&P anyway. So we are down today and being respecting the trend line. So we just thought we could break the the all-time high, which just a few points is really 37. Yeah, I mean, we're still very much within reach, 27 points within reach. But at the same time, this load shedding is saying something. Also, if you look at the IWM, this is actually interesting considering I do last week again, if you listen to or if you replay the video I put out last week, I did talk about the IWM and I said, do you think we're gonna get a blow off top? Well, I guess not. Market came back to respect the last trend line, and which is the last resistance, and which became a support. So is it going to flip it back up, or is it going to be down tomorrow? Yet to be seen. We shall see. So that's a great move today by IWM. But first and foremost, we woke up to iRobots. I think market caught this heavily, over 70%. I think I woke up and I saw 84%, to be honest. And filing for bankruptcy now. I think we all know this anyway. They did say the news was bad, everything was bad. So, I don't expect anything now to good to come out of this one. So as you can see, iRobot came down heavily and it broke every line. I mean, back to all-time low in one day. So, this is something you got to understand. Look at that. This is literally almost 100% in one day, and it's still down 17% after hours. So I expect this to just keep going and keep going and keep going. So, unfortunately, I think this was back in the scope at some point. It was the FCT, they said, who was talking about that Amazon was about to buy them, but it was not sanctioned. And unfortunately, they filed for bankruptcy today after private buyouts. That's from Reuters. Do some Google search, you'll find it. So unfortunately, if you're caught in here, it's time to get out, which is something I always talk about. Market moves both ways, up, down, sideways. So If you see a setup and you think it's downside, then of course, call it shorts. It's that simple. Also, we do have BMY, which Bristol. I mean, this is a stock I've been looking at actually, just sideways. I'm just looking at my notes, but yeah, I didn't plan to talk about this today, but yeah, Bristol Myers. It looks like it's still not a bad one. So it looks like markets getting risk adverse, so which is something I'm talking about today. Markets getting a lot more risk averse, and people seem to be shifted to value and selling overbought names. Let's see. I think BJ's is one I wanted to look at. So let's look at BJ's. Number one, BJ's. I wouldn't really talk about how, yeah. So BJ is the value, and as you can see, if you look at this is on a weekly, but let's just look at it on a few days. So you can see it's consolidation right there. BJ's targets. Just going to call a few big names which have been value, which have not been doing great so far. Look at that target. Target is amazing. That's one. Another one here is Deckers. I have been talking about Deck every day, almost every day. Again, you can see that that's on a good trend, which is still trending again. There's something people forgot to talk about. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly insert this here. Jets, which has been on a tier, I think it's on a 3-year high, really. So, which is all airlines. So that's something people are not talking about, and it's just quietly crept on into, well, not exactly all time high, into a 3-year high. Sorry, it's a 5-year high actually. And look at that. No one is talking about that. Airlines aren't really my thing, but if you're going to look into that, this has been amazing, amazing. So, does that mean we short it? Absolutely not. It's just something I'm paying attention to. Okay. Um, Also, I made a few notes right here. We do have, I mean, because I'm based in the UK, sorry, I said the NFP non-farm payroll data lands against the backdrop of a labor market clearly losing momentum. Fresh jolts figures show opening stock of 7.67 million. Layoffs pick up and fewer workers choosing to leave their jobs. All signs that confidence in the job market is sleeping. So we can see there's a market which is weakening right here. Openings far below 2022 peak, and forecasters expecting a rise in unemployment to 4.5%. So traders will be watching whether payrolls confirm a cooling jobs engine or offer any hint of resilience. Might the release shake up the US indices and major forex pairs? So that's on the forex angle. It's just something I'm looking at. And of course, we do have CPI on Wednesday. Again, I think that's the UK. So something else again to watch out for. But anyway, back to the US. So yeah, I mean, so I've just looked at a few value, and we could see value seem to have shrugged off whatever is happening today. Also, Tesla. If you look at Tesla somehow, I've been talking about this, doing a 500 before the end of the year. And at this rate, it's looking very, very possible. It's just keep, climbing every wall of worry, over time. So we shall see it's 1.6 trillion right now. Now let's look at Apple, one of the key AI guys, the key drivers of AI. Apple is down today, after, you know, inching all-time high 288, and where is my marker? Sorry, there you go. Apple down and down. I mean by a tiny notch. Let's look at Google. Or Alphabet rather. So I mean Alphabet as well. Alphabet is seems to be down as well today. Yeah, you can see, and still down after hours a little bit. Again, after cooling off, touching all-time high. Again, if you look at Robinhood as well, Robinhood is also, so if you look at Robinhood, Robinhood is another one. Robinhood has actually been selling off for a few days now, for a while. I think Robinhood has been very, very hot all year. So, this losing momentum for a while now, I don't think is a problem at all. So, do I think it deserves to cool off for some while, because if you got to understand, this is a stock that has actually ran from, I mean, this is 2023. Let's look at 2025. January. It's around here. Yeah, there you go. It's done from 47, ran all the way to 153. It did it 200%. So yes, deserves some load shedding. Palantir as well. Palantir is, Palantir actually picked back up from where I think I talked about 170 picking it up. And yes, it picked back up, but of course, you hardly call this anything really one, point less, just about 10th of 1%. So yeah, not a great deal. And these are still very, very much strong stocks. But one more thing, so which is what made me think or say, it's not a conclusion. I'm just saying, it's money leaving AI. And if you think it's leaving AI, where do you think it's going? As far as I'm concerned, yes. And where do I think it's going? I think there's a bit of a rotation into some value names. And finally, this is Zillow. Something happened today. Zillow said it got taken to the woodshed today, literally 8%. And you can see this has been a huge sell-off has been happening since the last earnings. And why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Look at that. Okay. Because now there's a potential implication here. What did Google Alphabet say? They are launching a home style listing in search of results. Okay. Is this going to be the end of Zillow? They're launching the home search. So Alphabet's getting into that realm. I mean, let's remember Alphabet's still the biggest search engine. So it makes sense consolidating everything in one place. You want to search for homes, might as well just go in there. We'll be looking out for, UK Auto Trader that might lose in sympathy to this actually. So if you look at Auto Trader, let's have a look. Auto Trader. That's the UK, but let's see. Auto Trader Group. Yeah, can't exactly see what they're. I can't exactly see what their parents' name is, but anyway, so it's just something I thought of. So there are lots of potential implication if Google choose or decide to get into this sector, from the incumbent portals to exclusive listings to AI and international. But for now, it's speculation. So what else? What else? What else? But if I'm gonna I mean, let me just chat this really. So I didn't really get into the details of the last earnings, but I know he had a sell-off after. Oh, okay, after November earnings. There you go. And he decided to pick up again, but then again, going by this rumor, I think it's a rumor, and that just caused it another huge shellacking. So, do we think there's a problem here? Absolutely, I think there is a problem. But if I'm going to look at it long term, it's not exactly going to zero. I mean, this is a company that survived 2016, 9 years in the market from the lows of 15, and it's about, quadrupled right now. So, well, to where it is right now. So if you bought right then and just held, you are still, 300-400% in profits. So it's not a big deal, but we shall see what happens right here at the lows of 66. I'll probably go with around number 65, see what happens, and then see if it rebounds eventually. But one thing is we're just going to pay attention to this, wait for the news to cool down before we have another look if we should take another bite. But let's hope that the sell-off is done today, because we've been having a sell-off since Friday. We had a few, also today we had a few upgrades, we had a few downgrades, but generally I think ARM is one of them. It's been downgraded as well. So, but we shall see. And one more thing I talked about today was crude oil, man. Crude oil. We had a discussion in the group about how sometimes you got to look at the fundamentals. And with the fundamentals, I wouldn't say president wants to kill crude oil, but president is, interested in driving the price down. And as we can see right here, over the long term, I mean, if I'm going to go with my similar one, actually, there you go. Where's the line? Yep, the crude oil has been persistently down, and they've survived or succeeded in keeping these below the trend line. So yeah, is it a buy time now? I mean, we'll buy into strength. I can't really time this at all. This is just something we are watching. But until then, guys, I hope tomorrow is going to be tomorrow is going to be another day. I hope tomorrow is going to be a better day in the markets. Um, you know, again, go with patience. Sometimes you take a small loss, sometimes you go in heavy, you take a big win. But overall, we stay gentle, we stay alert, pay attention to the market, see how it goes tomorrow. One more thing I mentioned was palladium, which I think is actually doing well. But anyway, back to the closing. That's on the market, on the metal side. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow, and wish everyone well.